Hey guys, what's up? It's Duncan here, KHfan. As you can clearly see, I'm in my living room right now. Um, I finally decided to do my Q&A video that I promised like all those months ago after like 200 subscribers, 300 subscriber videos, all that good stuff. So, sorry it took so damn long. I finally decided to get around to it. So, let's begin. First question is from LMVtron1. He's asking, how did you get to know the people in this music community? Well, if you're meaning the actual reviewing community, I kind of became friends with everybody during actually one of Cannibal Sports blog TVs, and I asked if people would actually subscribe to my channel, and luckily a lot of them did. Then I did my first review, which is the Lamb of God one, and I got a bunch of subscribers after that. So that's one. Another question is from Random1110. He asks a couple questions. What's your thoughts on indie rock? I'm not really into indie rock at all. And if you had to drink a band, what band would you drink? I don't know what you're trying to say. I'm guessing you're trying to say what bands would you want to drink with, and what would I drink? Honestly, I would really love to drink with the Black Dahlia Murder or All Shall Perish, considering their partiers and whatnot. I partied with Born of Osiris at Warped Tour this past summer. That was fun, and I had some Jaeger in that little party. But yeah, that was about it. So yeah. Next one is from Moonlapse Opethian. What's up, Ted? If you had to kill off one of these bands, which would it be? Trivium, Arch Enemy, In This Moment, or Chelsea Grin? If you pick Chelsea Grin, you get anally raped by Mike Tyson. I'm going to go with Chelsea Grin because I don't like Chelsea Grin at all. That's just me. I don't care. That was a ridiculous question. Count Blagrith. This is kind of a ridiculous question, too. He asks, what albums this year are you looking forward to most? Well, this was a question from long ago, so all my albums I've looked forward to I've heard. So, like Phantom Antichrist by Creator, Electric Age by Overkill, Torture by Cannibal Corpse, etc. And another question he has, this one's kind of ridiculous. One more. Rosie O'Donnell, Weird Al, or Hillary Clinton. You gotta kill one, marry one, and fuck one. Go. Now, that's a ridiculous question. Oh, I don't even want to answer that. I'm not going to answer that one. Because either way, I'm fucked. What is your favorite... Green Day, The Beatles asks, what's your favorite non-metal band? Rush, easily. I mean, Moving Pictures is just ridiculous. It's a great album, in my opinion. Multiposts asks, who, in your opinion, is the worst band in the metal scene and why? Black Veil Brides, easily. I would say Asking Alexandria, but they're somewhat more tolerable than Black Veil Brides. It's mostly because their freaking cult fan base is retarded. They basically they're copying. They have like a little crap combo, in my opinion, of like Kiss and Motley Crue, and it's just a really bad combo in my eyes. And their music's just crap, in my opinion. And that's that question. Masquerade in Blood. I think I pronounced that right. He said, what do you think of grindcore and deathcore? Grindcore I'm not the biggest fan of. If you want to consider like bands like Dying Fetus grindcore, I like them. Deathcore, I like some deathcore bands. Most of it I really fucking hate. But deathcore bands I like are Whitechapel, Despised Icon, All Shall Perish, Winds of Plague. If you want to consider them, these ones, deathcore bands, Veil of Maya, Born of Osiris. I really don't consider those two deathcore, but I like them. Runner JMA, Josh Armijo. He has a couple questions for me here. First one he asks is, What is your take on bands that revive classic rock and heavy metal like Ghost, Graveyard, In Solitude, for some examples? I really haven't gotten a chance to listen to Graveyard or Solitude or In Solitude, which I should. But Ghost, I think, is really a breath of fresh air for metal. I mean, they sound like Merciful Fate, just like more 70s style, which is great. I really dig Ghost a lot. What bands besides deathcore do you feel are overrated and wrongfully put on high pedestal? Now that is a very, very good question. I'd have to say Slayer. Probably they're really, really overrated. As much as I love Slayer, they just got damn. It's just their fans that kind of makes them overrated. I mean, the music itself is not that overrated, but like Slayer in general, I guess, if that makes sense. And finally, he finally gets this answer. What in the blue hell does KH stand in your username? Well, in case you haven't figured it out, Josh, it actually stands for Kingdom Hearts because I was a huge fan of that game when that was around. I mean, I made this username when I was 14 years old, so this was back in 2006 when I made this account. So yeah, Mr. Cannibal Sport, he asks first. Well, he has two questions: Dream Festival / show. That is a very, very tough question. It'd have to involve all my favorite bands I couldn't even name. I couldn't even name all the bands I'd want on there. There's just so many options. If you had to choose between attending a Chelsea Grin concert and meeting the band or performing Cunnilingus on Oprah, which would you choose? Sadly, I'd probably choose the Chelsea Grin concert because I don't want to. I'm too scared to go down. I would be too scared to go down on Oprah. Ugh, no. The London guy 123 asks, out of all the drummers in the world, whose drum set would you like to play on? That is also a very, very good question. I've seen a lot of ridiculous drum kits. I probably want to play on Get Down. Anyway, that's my dog I'm talking to. I probably want to play on Mike Portnoy's twin monster kit that he had when he was in Dream Theater. That thing is fucking massive. I would love to play on that. I mean, he still has it, but it's in his drum room at his house, from what I've seen. There's another freaking question from Moonlapse Opethian. Who is your favorite vocalist, guitarist, bassist, keyboardist, if any, and drummer? My favorite vocalist? Man, that's a really, really tough one. I'd have to say... Oh, no, actually, never mind. I'm thinking of something else. My favorite vocalist is easily Ronnie James Dio. Not the fact that he's dead, but he blows me away every time I listen to him. Guitarist, Marty Friedman, who formerly played for Megadeth. Favorite bassist would have to be Alex Webster of Cannibal Corpse. Keyboardist... It'd have to be either Tomas from Nightwish or what's his name from Children of Bodom. One of those two. I can't remember Children of Bodom's keyboardist's name. And drummer, that's easy, Dave Lombardo. Some more questions to answer. What do you think? Okay, this is kind of an old one, but what do you think of the Sumerian stage at this year's Mayhem? I thought it was. I didn't really care for it. I mean, I only cared for really two bands on that stage, considering that Between the Martyrs wasn't on my show at Mayhem Fest. I didn't get to go to that. I didn't go to that stage at all. I didn't like the opening band that played. Wasn't really a fan of Dirt Fed, and I really wanted to see Upon a Burning Body, but I didn't know what time they were playing, so I missed them. But I saw Eye of the Breather on the Jaeger stage, and they were awesome. What was your favorite band out of the Big Four, and if you could change the lineup or order, what would you do, or would you keep it the same? My favorite out of the Big Four, I'd have to say all time would have to be Megadeth, simply because Rust in Peace is my all-time favorite record. But nowadays it would have to be Anthrax, considering the fact that I think their latest album, Worship Music, was better than the latest albums from Metallica, Megadeth, and Slayer combined. That's just me. And if I were to change the lineup in order, I wouldn't change the order exactly, but I would add a couple bands. I'd probably add Testament and Exodus to the list, make it a big six. That was from Stan Olsen on. Actually, the last two questions were from Stan Olsen. Thanks for the questions, dude. Will we see any more drum covers in the future? Hopefully, because I haven't had time really. I've been busy, and that's my dog walking by if you can see him. I have no idea what I want to cover yet. I'm torn between a few songs that I want to do, so I gotta get back to practicing on those. Favorite grindcore band? Okay, Dirt Hammer. Actually, the last question was asked by DexterFan669. Dirt Hammer asks, favorite grindcore band? Not death grind, but pure grindcore. Like I said, I'm not really big on grindcore. I mean, if you want to consider Dying Fetus grindcore, I'd say them. But, yeah. Next question is from SombreroZilla. He says, do you think that drummers who use triggers are cheating? It kind of depends, really. As a drummer myself, I can't stand that drummers that play so lightly rely so heavily on triggers just to make their drums sound loud. If they don't have any power behind it, I think it's crap. And when they tap really lightly on the on the kicks and make their triggers like really sensitive, they can pretty much sound like they're playing fast when they're tapping like really lightly instead of actually having power behind it. But the real point of triggers is really to make your double bass sound really audible if you're going faster than 220 beats a minute on your kicks, which is pretty difficult to do. But yeah. Green Day the Beatles asks, what album got you into metal? I'd have to say when I first listened to Toxicity by System of a Down, because that album basically got me into metal in general. As soon as I heard Chop Suey, I heard that really heavy riff at the beginning, I was done. So, yeah, that's basically the album that got me into metal. What is your favorite song you've heard so far in 2012? 147 Rooster 1 asks. My favorite song that I've heard all year is probably by far From Flood into Fire by Creator. That album, I mean that song just completely gives me chills every time I listen to it. And the fact that I got to see them play that song live a couple months ago was amazing. Running into Calamity asks, if one particular genre of music had to go and would never be heard again, like Vanilla Ice style, gone bye-bye, which would you choose and why? Oh, man. It'd have to be probably some metalcore stuff, because there's a lot of shitty metalcore that's been coming out lately. Yeah, I mean, bands that have come out recently, like Asking Alexandria, Black Veil Brides, all that shit. Yeah. I mean, the first wave of metalcore is good, like the bands that came out of Massachusetts and such as like Killswitch, Unearth. If you want to consider trivia metalcore, then yeah, that type of stuff's okay. But metalcore in general, just no, I'm not much of a fan of it. And last question is from The World Ends Friday. Could you make a video showing your CD collection? I already have. I know this is a question from like 7 months ago, but yeah, I already have a video of that. I actually have a 2-part video of that, so if you want to check that out, dude, you can look in my videos for that. So, yeah, that's basically all my questions that I have for you guys. I might do another Q&A. If you feel like leaving me a question, please do so. Oh, look, there's a dog. There's my dog. Anyway. I will talk to you guys later. Leave some questions for me for my next Q&A. I'll get around to that when I get a shit ton of questions. Yeah, I'll see you guys later. Peace out and keep it metal.